Hello, all. Good morning. Hope you are doing well. So, yesterday we understand like how to write a simple program. Of course, still we need to learn lots of things. So, I'm just opening the file what we have done yesterday. First, I'm just opening in the code editor, Visual Studio Code, and even simultaneously we can open that file in the browser. Okay, the browser. And if you see, just right click, inspect. And yesterday we did simple logic. And surprisingly, we have seen two things. One is object, another one is undefined. So these are the data types. So if you declare, if you initialize the value in double quotation, and if you add some text, the data type will be string. And number, we know this true and false, it's a boolean, and don't put in a single quotations or double quotations. If you put this is true in double quotation, it will become a string. At the time, it will be a string. So don't do that mistake if it is a boolean. And array, so in that array you can store multiple values at a time. Even if you are completely beginner, definitely we are going to discuss a lot about arrays. Don't worry now, just follow the syntax. And suppose if you don't declare anything here, if you don't declare anything, just var man of the series or any variable name, it is clearly showing that undefined. Okay. So this is the most important thing we should understand in JavaScript, because if you do the same thing in C language, okay, if you write like this, so if you do int a equal to 10, and if you do printf %ld comma a, you will get 10. And if you don't assign any value to that, and still if you try to print that value, you don't get any value. It's like it will show some empty thing. But JavaScript is not like that. So we should understand clearly what is happening inside the JavaScript runtime environment. So that is the most important thing. So without understanding that, as I said, we can't learn JavaScript properly. So JavaScript plus JavaScript runtime environment. Okay, JavaScript runtime environment. So we all know already. We are discussing from last 2 3 days. Okay, just see this is the browser. This is the browser. Inside the browser, what we are talking, we have a JavaScript runtime environment. JavaScript runtime environment. Okay, JavaScript runtime environment. Inside the JavaScript runtime environment, we have two things. Okay, here we have a browser API, and in an event loop. This is what we have discussed already, but please draw it and remember, register in your memory. This is most important, this diagram. Okay, so browser API, this one, and here this is JavaScript engine. So this is what already we discussed, like what are the things are there. This, the name of this is, okay, event loop. This is callback queue. This is micro task queue. Like that. So we should we should have a lot of things in JavaScript engine that I'm going to draw in another box. Otherwise, okay, let me add here itself. It will be more simple to understand. So inside of this, we have a this is a JavaScript engine. This is a JIT compiler. Okay. A few other things also there, but this is enough for now. So this is a JIT compiler, and we have the most important. This is the call stack. Okay, what it is? Call stack, and the same time we have a memory stack and memory heap. This is very, very important. This is, I'm saying, memory stack. It's not a queue, it's a stack. Okay, memory stack, and this is a memory heap. That means heap memory. This is a simple diagram. This is a simple diagram. So inside the browser we have a JavaScript runtime environment. This is JavaScript runtime environment, and the big diagram, big box is the okay browser. So here we should understand what is happening after compilation, because after compilation we should execute, right? We should execute. So this is the most important. Other programming languages don't have this much complexity. That's why those are easy to learn. But here, of course, JavaScript is also easy to learn, but we should learn all these things. Otherwise, it's completely difficult. So now we are going to learn what is happening in JavaScript runtime environment when you are writing a simple logic. So I'm writing very simple logic where a is equal to 10. Okay, what I'm writing, where a is equal to 10 and where b is equal to 20 and where c equal to a plus b. I have some cold, sorry for the disturbance. Console.log of c, like you can mention sum of a comma b equal to this completely string, and I'm just putting after that I want to display the value of c. This is a simple program. So in C language it's different, JavaScript is different. So we can talk how things are there in JavaScript. So I'm just taking another screen of paint. I'm going to copy this code. Copy this code. So just paste it so that it will be easy for you for refer here itself. Sum of a comma b. So I think we can just take the I think this is enough, right? Are you? I hope you are able to see this clearly. So I want to save some space, that's why I reduced the font size. Okay, no problem. So here from this diagram, now I'm going to focus on these two boxes. What is memory stack and call stack? What's happening? Of course, everything is important. We can, based on the situation, we should discuss remaining things also. So once the compilation process is completed and we need to execute, right? We need to execute in a computer. So I'm just drawing these two blocks. I'm just picking these two separately for just understanding purpose. I'm just drawing here. So, but you should visualize that these are inside of JavaScript engine. JavaScript engine is inside of JavaScript runtime environment. JavaScript runtime environment is inside of a browser. So here what I'm drawing, this is the call stack. I'm writing a big now, and here I'm drawing memory stack. Okay, memory stack. So JavaScript execution process have a two phases. Okay, JavaScript execution will happen in two phases. That is very important. Normally other programming language have, they'll go and directly execute that. Once you convert high level programming language into low level programming language, either with the help of compiler or interpreter or a JIT compiler, once it is converted into machine level and it will start executing that. But JavaScript is different. Here JavaScript will go through your code two times. What I'm saying, it will go through your code two times. That means it will have a two phases of execution. Two phases of execution. Okay. So how these two phases will work and all those things. And now, right now, I'm going to introduce few more the keywords like terminology. Don't worry about that because this is around, I think, the third or fourth session, and we are writing the code. This like we are in the second session. Don't worry. So here, whenever this code is handed over to the JavaScript engine after compilation, observe carefully. This is the call call stack. So remember those terminal. This is memory stack. So these are very interesting. Definitely you will love it. So in JavaScript, whenever you hand over this code to the JavaScript engine, immediately it will create it will create a global execution context in the call stack. What it is? Remember that name? Is that global execution context? Global execution context. Just I want to move this. Okay, fine. This is what it is. Global execution context. Okay, inside of that, we have a big object. Okay, so far we didn't discuss about object right now. Don't worry. Object is nothing but it is another data type. It will store the data in a key value pairs. Key value pairs. I will show you one example. Okay. Object where suppose student details or employee details or player details. Suppose today we have semi-finals against England. So I'm just storing some information where um like team. So we have team. So team name. Okay. We will store information like this. Team name is India and captain. Okay. Rohit Sharma. And here in the team we have players, right? So players. If you feel, because players, a lot of, I think best 11, we should store 11 players information, so you should take an array. Team, if like if you don't have anything, please go on mute, everyone. If you have anything, definitely we can talk in few minutes. So players like openers, Rohit and Rahul and Virat Kohli. Like that, you can just store all the players' information, and you can add anything like how many matches they have played so far, or anything like if you want to store integers, floats, any kind of data you can store it. So simple understanding is object is because array is different, because array means you should use this brackets, and you can store information with the comma separated directly. You don't have a key value pairs. Here it will work on an index basis. Like if you are already, I think you already learned C language, so this is index number 0, 1, 2, like that. Of course, we can discuss in detail, but just understanding purpose I'm saying. But object is if you want to store any data in the object, you should follow this syntax. Key value pair. So you can see that team dot name means India, team dot captain is Rohit Sharma, team dot player means this array. So that will work. So we can come to that point later. Here, what I'm saying, here it will create an object. That means it will store the information in a key and value pairs. That's why I'm just giving us some simple introduction. But we can talk about this later. Okay. So here, what's happening? I said it will create a global execution context inside the call stack. Okay. So what it will do right now, what you're doing, where a is equal to 10. So make sure that right now we are in phase one. In the phase one, it doesn't execute the statements. In the phase one, it will allocate the memory for all the variables. Just remember my words. In the phase one, what JavaScript engine will do, it will allocate the memory for all the variables. How many variables are there here? A is the one variable, B is one variable, and C is one variable. So first it will allocate only memory for those variables. But the question is, in C language also, it will allocate the memory at the same time, and it will store the value also. Okay, at the same time. But here we have two phases. In the first phase, first it will allocate a memory. It doesn't insert 10 or 20 or something. It will put ideal, and in the next phase it will start executing. So I will explain here clearly. In the phase one, so if JavaScript engine is just doing this first statement, here where a is equal to 10 is there. So we have one variable so that it should allocate the memory for a. But in JavaScript, it is just dealing in a very different way. So what it will do, it will push a key value pair a into this object. I will show you that in a browser memory. Don't worry if you are able to understand 10% or 20%, that is enough, because we are going to discuss this a minimum 20 to 20 to 30 times in next 100 sessions. So don't worry, just understand, just follow it. So what it will do, it will push a object like key value pair a, but we should provide some value, right? Either we should provide us empty space, either you should leave it like without putting anything. So here, what JavaScript is doing now, JavaScript has introduced a new keyword called undefined. So in the memory allocation phase, it is not going to store any value there. So what it is doing, it is just dealing with really different and unique way. This is the memory stack, right? Here we can store the values. We can store the numbers or anything. Okay, this is the memory. So here first it will put undefined here. Okay, what it is? Undefined, a simple keyword, and it will give a reference of this a to this memory. Then the value of a will become what it is? Undefined. I will show you in the browser clearly in next few minutes. So what is the value of this a? It will be undefined now. The same, okay, done. First line is done. So it's not going to do a is equal to 10, that it's not going to store 10 like this. Okay, first phase, it will just focus on memory allocation. So even you can say the phase one is memory allocation phase. Memory allocation phase. So the second thing, this is also same. So here where b is equal to 20, we have another variable. So it is going to give another key value pair. Now just understand here, it is not going to put another undefined here. It's not going to do it. So what it will do, it will use the same memory. It will use the same memory because here also you are putting undefined only. So B also take the value from this memory. It will provide some reference. Okay, how it will provide the reference, that is the different we can learn later. So now value of B is also undefined. Okay, awesome. Now it will go to the third line where C is equal to A plus B. C is equal to A plus B, what it is, it doesn't bother. First, the responsibility of the JavaScript engine is it should allocate the memory for C. So how it will allocate? Same way, C, and it is point to the same memory allocation, same memory allocation, and the value of this C is also undefined. Okay, undefined is the special keyword, or we can say a special placeholder using in JavaScript. So the purpose of this is completely different. So so in while memory allocating the memory, instead of leaving empty or instead of putting some values in the memory allocation itself, so it is dealing like this. Okay, it is just putting undefined and it is just pointing that. So if you check in the memory before executing, because this phase one is the memory allocation phase. Phase one is the memory allocation phase. Now, okay, three statements are completed. Fourth statement, console.log sum of a comma b is equal to c. Okay, this is here nothing is there to, no variable is there, right? We don't have any variable here. So it doesn't take any action on this line number 4. So completed. So it is done. First line, we have a variable, so it is provide the memory for that, and it is just pushed into object the key value pair a undefined. And next line we have another variable, it is provided in the same way. In the third line we have another variable, it has done in the same way. The fourth line, nothing is to allocate the memory, so it will skip that. So in that JavaScript file, in that JavaScript logic, we have done 4 lines. Then again, it means once it will go through the all the lines. Now it will move to the phase 2. So phase 1, what I said, a memory allocation phase. Phase 2 is execution phase. Phase 2 is execution phase. So here I'm writing what it is. Phase 2 is execution phase. Awesome, right? So, but we need to check whether, because I'm saying that, okay, this is there in the memory, we can see it, we can see the call stack, we can see this information. Yes, now we are going to check that information. So initially it's tough. I know it's very tough to do all this stuff, but please follow the steps and gradually you will understand everything. Okay. So here refresh the file. refresh the file. The browser is beautiful, that's why. So browser is most powerful and beautiful. So just go and inspect. Okay, here a lot of tabs are there. Lot of tabs are there, right? First one is element. That means it will clearly display what you have done in that HTML file. So if you see, if you just expand script, clearly you're able to see where A is equal to 10, where B is equal to 20, where C is equal to something, like you're able to see everything here, what you have mentioned in that particular file. The console, it is displaying sum of A comma B is equal to 30 because already refresh, so execution process is complete. That's why it's displaying the value. There is no problem for us. But here, what's happening inside the browser, if you want to check that, we need to do something like this. So just go to the sources. Just go to the sources. Just click on this index.html file. Okay, what I did, simple. I will show you one more time. Once you open the HTML file, right click, inspect, so that it will open this tab. Here, go to sources. Now we can do a debugging and we can see that. Now if you see, I'm just talking about the call stack, right? Call stack. Here is there call stack. Right now in the call stack, nothing is there. Nothing is there. So, but here what I'm doing, I'm just putting a breakpoint at line number 18. What I'm doing, putting the breakpoint means it will stop, it will pause the execution. It will pause the execution at that particular line, and at the time we can observe things in this section. Okay, so if you're completely new to programming, I know it's difficult, but no problem. So just refresh one more time once you put the breakpoint, and if you do a refresh, so now it is the execution, because it is not executed. Only phase one is completed because we can't pass the phase one, because phase one is completed. We are entered into the phase two, and we are about to execute the first line in the JavaScript. So still now we didn't execute it. So now, before executing the first line, what is there in the memory, what we have discussed, right? Whether this is right or wrong, we can cross check the memory. So just go to the browser. I said something is there in the call stack, right? This is the call stack. I said here we have a global execution context. Go to the browser. If you see call stack previously, just 2 minutes back, with before putting this breakpoint, nothing is there in the call stack. Now we are just executing here. This is the first line, right? Because phase one is already completed, because we can't debug the phase one memory allocation phase. So now we didn't execute the first line also. So we are just about to execute it. So now if you see, I said what I said in this global execution context. In this global execution context, it is stored a object, and it is just pushing these values as key value pairs. So observe carefully, we can see that clearly. So this is the call stack. This is the global execution context. Then right now it is saying anonymous. Okay, anonymous means no name, but that is global execution context. I will explain why it is showing anonymous, okay, or something. Okay, once you understand the functions, once you understand the execution context for the function, you will get to know everything. So here another interesting thing is scope. Okay, right now don't break your head, but just follow me. We have a scope. Inside of that, it is showing global scope. So here another two things are introduced. What are those keywords? What are the keywords? Scope, and inside of that scope, it is showing first type of scope, that is global scope. Okay, global. Don't worry. Just remember these words. That's enough for next 5 to 10 days. So global scope. Just expand it. You will see one object. If you see a colon undefined, a lot of other information is also there, By default, JavaScript engine will provide this information, but what we need to observe here, we should check whether we have a value and that should be undefined, b value that should be undefined, c value that should be undefined. Okay, expand it, expand it. Why it is providing all the other things, that is have a really meaningful thing we can discuss later. So now if you observe carefully here a value undefined, and at the same time b value undefined and c value undefined. Okay, that is what we have discussed so far. That means JavaScript has two phases. That is the proof that already it has completed a memory allocation. It is completed a memory allocation, and it is just put a global execution context in the call stack. That's why the scope of that is global. Okay, don't worry. And it is stored a special placeholder called undefined in the memory stack, and it is just pointed to that one. So the value of a is undefined, b is undefined, and c is undefined. Okay, so I hope you're able to see the same thing in this. Okay, now I will cross check. Team, do you understood? If you understood, just ping me yes. Otherwise, if you want to explain one more time, I will explain. And who are watching the live, I think 7 members are there. So you can put comment in the mm, video, like comments. I can see that. Hopefully I can see that quickly, because this is the most important thing. This is the most important thing. YouTube channel, go to live. Okay, JavaScript undefined, right? Live. I will put simultaneously here what's happening, what I'm doing. I can see here. Comment in the. I'll just put. Okay, yeah. In the comment section, I can see what you are doing. Okay, if you're interested. Otherwise, no need. So team, here over there, just ping me. Understood? 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 Fantastic. Okay. Now I'm going to, like, we are going to see what is going to happen in phase two. What is going to happen in phase two? So I said we discussed in the first phase, that is a memory allocation phase. Phase two is execution phase. Now it will do actual action. Okay, perfect action. Now again it will go to the first line. Right now I'm doing what is there in the first line. Okay, where a already we have allocated memory, so no need to worry about that. Now we should think about a equal to 10. That means we need to provide value 10 to a. So what it will do, I will show in the memory by debugging. So here, of course, we can't see this memory stack, but it will put value, it will store value 10 here, it will store value 10 here, and it will cut this relation from this A, and it will point to this memory. It will point to this memory. Now, value of A will become 10. Okay, we can clearly observe in the browser. So once we execute the first line, value of a will become 10. Okay, and still value of b and c are undefined only. So I'm just moving to the browser. Observe carefully here. Now I'm going to execute the first line. So if you want to execute only one line, here a lot of things are there. So step into next function call, but of course we didn't line function, don't worry about here. Here step out of the current function. Still we don't have a function, no need to worry. So here if you see this right arrow, it is saying the step F9, and F9 means the function key. The name of that is a step. So I want to move to another step. That means I need to finish the first line of execution and I need to go to the next line. So observe carefully. Now the value of A is undefined. Once I execute the line number 1, it will become 10. Observe carefully. I'm doing, go to the global. So if you see, the value of A is 10, still value of B is undefined and value of C is undefined. So you're able to see the whole execution process. So this is the proof, right? And now go to second line. Now you, this execution is going to happen for second line. Of course, whatever we are doing in the browser, like I'm just putting like so. Now we are going to execute this line. B is equal to 20. Now what will happen? It is going to push another memory block here, and it will store the value of, so this is what it is, what we have mentioned, 20, right? 20. Now it will cut this relation to that B, okay, and it will point this B to this 20. Now what is the value of B in that global scope, in that object? Of course, I will show you how to create the objects, how to push the new values, how to change the values, everything we are going to learn. So here, now value of B will become 20. Okay, go back to the memory. Now here it is showing we are going to execute this line. So that's why it is highlighted. Go to next step. That means please finish B is equal to 20. Now it, value of B will become 20 in next few seconds. Boom. So if you see, value of B is also 20. In the same way, next line it will go and execute C is equal to A plus B. At the time what it will do, A plus B. First it will calculate A plus B 10 and 20. The value of that A plus B is 30 and it will store that 30 into C. So it will push another block here and it will store value as 30, and again it will break the relation with this one, okay, and it will take a reference for C from this memory. Now value of C is also will become 30 in the global scope in that object. Fantastic. Now see what I'm saying, just go and execute next line, this line A plus B. Execute global. So if you see, now value of A will become 10, already become 10, B also 20, and C also 30. This is awesome, right? And if you see, the next statement is console.log sum of A comma B is equal to C. Just go to the console. Nothing is there, right? Nothing is there now. So come back to the sources. If you execute this line, now it is going, that browser is going to print the value like sum of A comma B, like C. What is the value in C? 30, right, in the memory. So it will pick from value from that memory and it will display here. So I'm going to execute and I will come back to that console again. So go and execute, boom. So now if you see, the execution process completed, it is at end. Now if you go to this, so you are able to see the output is sum of A comma B equal to 30. This is awesome. Okay, I'm saying in the YouTube live, minimum, bare minimum 30% of software developers who are working in the industry, even they are working in JavaScript from last 1 or 2 years. If you take account from all the engineers who are working in the world, definitely minimum 30% of engineers don't know these things. Okay, that is true. So even if any one of your friends are working in JavaScript, just ask them I'm not, of course, I'm not giving a negative statement here. That means I'm just encouraging you that to understand the importance of JavaScript runtime environment. While learning JavaScript itself, you should learn what is happening in JavaScript runtime environment. If you don't learn these things, okay, it's very, very difficult to understand JavaScript clearly. So I hope you guys understood. So once again, just ping me yes or no if you want me to explain one more time, something like that. And everyone, please, please do this thing, practice now itself. So right now it's 6:44. Still we have 16 minutes, right? So please check it because to explain these things, it will take 40 minutes, but you can test it within definitely 15 minutes. So if you don't have any urgent work, of course, in the morning 6:45, definitely you don't have any urgent work. Please do practice now itself and show it to me. I will stop the live and I will be available for in the Microsoft Teams. Who are watching the live, please do practice. Draw the diagram clearly. You should register that diagram in your memory, and you should not forget. So if you want to do it, I don't know whether you will draw multiple times or if you are intelligent that in a single shot you can remember whatever it is. The important thing is you should remember. Okay, see you in the tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to learn few more interesting things. Definitely, I'm saying JavaScript. This learning journey is like um, watching some interesting movie. Okay, some movie has twists and turns. So if you learn, you will enjoy. Otherwise, that is your choice. And see you tomorrow. Bye bye.